Hello, everyone, and welcome to Command Center, your video game book club podcast. I said book club. My name is Daniel, and with me is...
Are we not restarting on that?
No.
Okay, well, with him is...
I don't know. Who are you?
No, you went second first time.
This is take two.
No, it's not. This is 2K Games. Nate Lamb. I'm Nate Lamb.
And?
I'm moving my mic stand constantly.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, I want a Whopper.
Get me a Whopper.
So I'm Jay, that's Nate.
Wait, no, that's Jay, that's Nate.
What?
Huh?
Well, that's great.
For fuck's sake.
Hi, everybody.
Are you guys ready?
Hope everybody's been well. Hope everybody's healthy. Except
Staying
for,
safe.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
Wear your masks.
Wear your mask.
You know who's not healthy? No, I'm not going to reference a man's death. Never mind.
Good idea.
No,
Wow.
yeah.
Who are you going to reference?
Herman.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
See, I even knew before you were going to
Yeah,
say
but he was a good... Wait, no, he wasn't the good guy.
I mean, his
No.
pizzas
He
were
was not a Citizen
bland.
Kane.
No.
Was Citizen
He was
Kane
a
good
Maltese
guy?
Falcon.
I don't know. I never watched that long-ass boring movie.
Citizen Kane? Rosebud.
Yeah, exactly.
It was his bike.
It was the sled.
Yeah, shit. I don't watch Family
I was about to say,
Guy. I don't want to watch more Family Guy, so I'm not gonna.
So, we played a game last month called Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Is that it, or is that the new one?
No, the new one is just called Squadrons.
Okay, cool.
Squadron.
I was getting that confused the entire time.
Yeah.
And hopefully, other people will.
Yeah, exactly. We're hoping that you stumbled upon this episode because you're looking up, stuff about squadrons. And if you were, that's not what this is about, but stick around.
No, that's what
look at
this
the man
is about.
behind
Keep
the
watching.
curtain.
That's what this is about. Trust us.
So a little bit about Rogue Squadron. Came out in 1998. It's an arcade-style action flight game, which was a really long way to say it's, fly around and shoot stuff. Co-developed by Factor 5 and LucasArts.
Never heard of them.
Neither did I.
For LucasArts or Factor 5?
Yes.
Factor 5. A lot of the stuff they did was like sound design and other games. I looked them up. Did some other stuff. They had like this game called... I never heard of it. They had been like 30 of these games. But this was
started at number 10?
I don't know what that was supposed to mean. This was one of the first games to make use of the expansion pack that you throw in the 64. Remember that thing?
Really? I always thought that was.
I do remember
I always
that,
thought
yeah.
that was Donkey Kong 64.
Well, so I guess when I was reading, Factor 5 pushed for it because I think they helped develop the technology for the expansion pack.
Huh?
So they were pushing.
Wait,
Nintendo,
the one that goes into the actual
controller.
64 or
Yeah.
to the controller?
not the Rumble Pack.
Oh,
The
there was-
expansion.
What was
pack.
the other thing that went in the controller?
Yeah, what
the Rumble
went?
Pack.
It was just,
No, there
it
was
just made it
a
vibrate.
non-Rumble pack, a smaller thing that went in the controller. An extra save?
There was a save card.
Yeah, save card.
Yeah, there was a
No,
save
this was
card,
the
okay.
expansion pack that you put in so you could play at higher resolutions.
Ah.
Would it play without it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it just like if you put it in, like just upgrades, kind of. There was some games that use it, some didn't.
Well, it's
Pretty
like
cool.
the
Yeah.
SNES had all those upgrade pods on the bottom that never got used, at least in the US.
Is that what those were for?
Yeah, they actually had
I was
plans
wondering.
to, and in Japan released a modem so you could play online.
What was it called? Famicom in Japan, right? Yeah,
Super Famicom.
yeah.
Famicom
that's what it
was
was.
Nintendo, yeah.
There's another thing I didn't know. There were actually 2 sequels to this game that were released on GameCube.
Yeah, there was
What?
Rogue Leader, and I remember I
Rebel
almost
Strike.
bought Rogue Leader. I bought
Wait, I think I kind of remember it
Yeah.
too. It was. It kind of had the same texture as the pod racing game.
I never played them.
yeah, it seemed like it was similar engine, but you were
Yeah.
locked to altitude in the pod racing game. or
Yeah,
something like that,
yeah.
I spent so much time looking for Pikmin on my GameCube that after like the third or fourth weekend in a row visiting game stores and not being able to buy a game, because I think I had like one game with it, I almost bought this, and I was like, you know what? If they don't have Pikmin this fucking week, I'm buying, and they had Pikmin, so I bought Pikmin because Pikmin was awesome.
Yeah, Pikmin was a great game. But
Pikmin.
Jay, did you play either of those sequels?
No.
No?
I
No.
mean, maybe I don't have much recollection of it. Maybe the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I remember it not being as good.
Pod race.
Rogue Leader and Rebel Strike were the 2 games. Overall, the game was considered a success, especially the graphics. That was really praised. The only negative thing that people talked about was, and I didn't notice it until I read about it, and now I cannot see it, is the fog, so that the draw distance is really low to save on system memory. So you can only see up to a certain point, and then like there's a fog that you can't see past.
You know when you were first going after TIE fighters and they were literal H's until you got close enough?
I guess I just never noticed.
Yeah, you'll
I
notice
did
it now if you play again.
Yeah.
So this game also, the inspiration to make this game came from the Hoth level from Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I
remember that
remember
game
that,
where you
yeah.
play as a
Dash
Dash
Rendar.
Rendar, right? It was a first person or third person?
No, it was
third
first
person shooter.
It was both.
Yeah, it was both.
Yeah.
You remember that, right?
I remember the game, but they were both on 64. Was there a lot of years between that they can be like?
Well, I don't know what year Shadows of the Empire.
Well, that level was so popular. I think 64 games didn't take as long to make.
I had Shadows of the Empire, and it was a really hard game at a certain point.
Yeah.
I would boot it up and play the Hoth level, and then stop
just to do that one.
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember also just to do the race against Han Solo, as well.
Knock off Han Solo
That's
versus
right.
Han Solo.
Yeah.
Hint: Han Solo wins. Well, except he didn't because you were the knockoff.
Right. But it was probably some shenanigans, Deus Ex Machina of they tied some nonsense.
So we're back to the mispronunciations because that was Dios and it's Deus.
Ay, Dios mío!
Yeah, that's right.
Ay, Dios Machina.
Dios mío! Dios mi máquina! It's just a guy praying to his washing machine. Oh, Dios my máquina.
No, it's more
Wait, why
like
did I say my?
Machias Dios mío.
I'm sorry, I don't speak French.
Yeah, I don't know what maquias. Vamos a maquias.
So, I hadn't played Rogue Squadron probably since I originally played it on an Xbox, but I played it a lot over several years.
Xbox.
Yeah. You guys didn't play it on Xbox? 64. When I did play it, I played it a shit ton, and then I just stopped one day and never went back to it. I bought it when it was on sale on Steam. They came out with a 3D version, and I booted it up, didn't have a controller, and decided that I was never going to play it again.
Yeah.
And I did it until this time around to play for the podcast.
I tried to.
Good man.
I'm
sorry, but I'm going to cut you off. Honestly, if
Cool. I tried to play it on keyboard.
I'm going to let you finish. But Rogue Squadron was the best game of all time.
Kanye 2020. The thing is,
Did he drop out yet?
Yeah, he dropped out
No,
2 days after.
Yeah. So I played it with a controller still in, I guess, what would it be, third person?
Yeah. All the fights
You
ever.
needed to go into first person, which I was looking for anyways.
Really?
Yeah, because the camera angle kept on zooming
As
out.
you
right.
boost
You
and
would
turn,
move-
the camera would lag back and never return. So you just ended up.
Yes, as I was going to say.
So that was
Well, you didn't say it well.
that was a glitch on the Steam edition. Y'all both played on Steam?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know if it was necessarily
Wait,
a
did
glitch.
you play on your 64?
I played on the 64.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Kind of. So I have a decently large television that I played it on, and the graphics don't
Yeah,
they don't translate well to a large screen. I remember when I first played it, I was like, these
Really?
graphics are great.
On this caveman platform.
Well, I mean, the TV itself.
What is it? A 39-inch TV or
It's
42
still so like the graphics.
Is it 720?
I think so. I mean, it doesn't matter what
you're blowing up
pixels.
pixels. Yeah.
So you just see every single individual
Oh,
pixel.
yeah, trust me, yeah.
So what I was going to say is I know that like when I was playing, when you boost, the camera zooms back, and when you slow down, the camera zooms in, but it returns to normal, like after you're done doing what you're going to do. If it stayed there, literally unplayable.
So
Really?
if you hit camera change, it would. So I'm trying to remember. Don't quote me on this, but so like when you boost, and the camera lags back. If you hit camera change, it would return the camera to where it was because it would say, "Oh, I'm clearly in a different camera setting," and go back to where it was. So you could just hit camera change, but then that's just adding a button every time
Pain
you
in
boost
the
or
ass,
turn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just ended up just going into first person mode, which what I was going to do regardless because of the new game, and that's how the new game is played. I think and we touched on it either in the mid-month or one of our regular episodes, that there was announced that they were going to have a remaster of Rogue Squadron, but it turned out, because that was still a rumor, it turned out it was probably just the new game that's going out right now.
It wouldn't make sense. They already did a remaster.
So thinking of this game, going into our episode, thinking of this game as the new one that's going out right now as a successor, I wanted to play it in that respect.
Definitely trying.
Buffy?
Yeah, sorry, the dog just laid
Dog
down
is scratching on the wall.
It's definitely trying to bring some of that out. And I think one of the reasons they didn't put Rogue in the title is that, like, I know personally I was excited when Disney bought Star Wars, not because of what they would do with the movies. They did okay.
Really? I mean, that's a whole fucking
I was
discussion we can
only
have.
There's a can of worms that we probably shouldn't
I was
use.
only excited because of the chance for X-Wing vs. TIE to come back out.
Yeah.
And hopefully, now granted, it's EA. Disney sold all the game rights as far as I know to EA, so I have zero faith in anything good happening. But I thought maybe Disney might dabble back into video games and re-release X-Wing vs. TIE or come up with
I mean,
No,
if-
you
if-
should have known that from the beginning when Disney bought Lucas and LucasArts, they canned most of the games that they were developing.
because they wanted to they didn't want to like continue on the production of what they might have already started. They want to start their new ones. Like,
I was hoping they would bring in a home studio.
LucasArts wasn't working on Squadrons. That was EA all the way from the ground up, and
I'm
it's
sure
not-
they were. I mean, I'm sure there was
Probably
some
not.
sort.
You just said they canned everything.
Yeah, they might have been some concept ideas.
No, I mean like
popped up.
pre to Disney buying Lucas and film / arts. I'm sure they were working on those games.
But
you
you
know,
just said they
fucking
canned it.
BioWare was working on Knights of the Republic 3. You know,
I meant the Star Wars games. But either way, what I was meant to say is it's not out yet. Squadrons looks amazing, and from all the YouTubers I've seen who have gotten to play it said that this is way better than we ever possibly thought, especially an EA game could have been. If it ends up being a success, maybe they will reignite the X-Wing and TIE Fighter
And
series.
That's X-Wing vs. TIE, and that's
what is this? Can you elaborate on this game? 'Cause I
X-Wing
actually
vs.
don't
TIE
know.
was a series of computer flight sim games that were... The first one was X-Wing, the second one was TIE Fighter, then the third one was X-Wing vs. TIE. And the idea was, so like, you know, in the trench run, set shields to double front. In the original Star Wars trench run, the squadron leader of the first squadron that goes in says, set shields to double front.
Is Trench Run another game? Or you're
Trench run in Star Wars, the first Star Wars, the trench run on the Death Star.
Trench.
Oh, that trench. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm thinking. Sorry, I was like Tatooine. Was there a trench run on Tatooine?
It was
run your way.
the race through Beggar's Canyon.
Back
that's
home.
what I was
Yeah.
like. What? I don't.
Well, we
yeah.
bullseye womp rats because we're
Star
homicidal
Wars
maniacs.
fan. I am.
Basically, it was Rogue Squadron, but think you've got the controls of a flight simulator.
Are
Like,
you thinking of the? Is it the same as the actual like arcade game that you sat down and did the trench run?
Did it have-
No. So it's a space combat
Flight
simulator.
yeah.
So you're stuck in first person mode. You can control your shields, your weapons, your power
link it up
levels.
with guns. You can overpower your shields and double charge them. You can underpower your engines and
And
be
it
slow.
was
And you can
free fly.
Yeah.
It wasn't on rails or anything.
Yeah, it was really good. It was hard.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
difficult, especially for like.
Was it by the same people that?
I think it was.
I don't know if it was a simulator, but I do like vaguely remember as a child watching you play those like flight games of like different. You would just pick different planes and whatnot.
Those were a little bit more arcadey. This one was really trying to be and kind of succeeded for the time at being a simulation.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'd be
it
interested
was
to see that.
Blast.
I'm
yeah.
sure with Microsoft coming out with what was it, Microsoft Air Simulator or Airplane Simulator,
Flight Sim.
Flight Sim
that's been
coming
around
out.
forever.
I'm sure they'll come out with a mod that would, you know what, that would be a perfect mod for them.
I mean,
to
it was
do.
kind of like that kind of game. Like, you know,
Yeah.
in Flight Sim, you sit in there, you can see the cockpit, you press
Yeah.
all the buttons. That's what it basically
that
was.
would be a perfect mod.
Published by
X-
LucasArts, developed by Totally Games.
That's not what I thought you were going to say. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason that I can see that they wouldn't.
Especially if it's popular.
Mm-hmm.
And I just my thing is with them giving the whole basically all the game dev to EA. Do they have a deal where all Star Wars games are EA now, or
Yeah,
are they
I believe
piecing
so.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So EA has like what they've always done. They buy the rights, and then they don't have to care about quality or fan bases. Like they've got Madden, and the NFL only has Madden, and Madden is EA. So they can just keep really releasing the same shit game and making a cash grab out of it.
From what I understand, well, almost every sports
Yeah,
game is like
Yes,
that.
agreed.
But from what I understand, like I said, Squadrons is supposed to be awesome.
And we'll see.
And I
I'm-
haven't played Battlefront 2, but they apparently patched the fuck out of it. It's supposed to be a damn decent game
And that's
now.
I'm holding my breath because I love Star Wars, but I'm not like
I'm cautiously hopeful.
I agreed in that, but I really shit, man, loot boxes shoved up my butt, and then they take my card for the pleasure.
No, they said
I'm-
there's going to be no microtransactions
Yeah.
whatsoever in
not
Squadrons.
not to jump on EA's cock, but like apparently, and I have wanted to buy Battlefront 2, the latest Battlefront 2, since the whole debacle of the loot box shoving up your ass.
Yeah, you want to have that
they've
sense of
specifically
accomplishment.
my act.
Yeah, they've actually fixed it to it being a pretty, from what I've heard, a actually good game.
Yeah.
And then what you've played was, what was it, Jedi Fallen Order, which was their pretty much their pivot to being like, oh yeah, we can't keep doing what we're doing with Star Wars, or we're gonna lose our rights.
That was a damn good game as well.
I remember before that game coming out, bunch of rumors, bunch of articles saying that Disney might pull the plug on EA making their games.
Disney's big enough to actually push. Disney, like the EA is a big man in the room. Disney's big enough to push back on them and say, like, we will take this the fuck away.
Well, you
from
have
you.
to remember as well that there was all that legislation that you can't have loot crates anymore.
Yeah.
So that
in the UK, yeah.
Well, here as well.
Yeah.
There wasn't legislation here. It was only in the UK. I know that.
But I mean, if it's in the EU, and that's a huge chunk of gaming.
No, exactly.
So they're not
That's
going to
what I'm
make a
saying.
separate
Yeah.
American version of every game.
Well, no, yeah,
So-
it's like how in GTA that you're not, or in any games like
you can't
that,
kill kids, because
yeah.
I think in Germany you're not allowed to.
Is
Yeah.
that why you can't kill the kids in Fallout?
In anything,
Yeah, in anything, yeah.
I've been specifically trying to only kill the children of Fallout. Sorry,
I
never mind.
accidentally adopted a kid in Skyrim. Couldn't kill the little fucker.
Could you leave him in the woods?
No.
Late term.
Could he be raised by the wolves?
They just show back up.
LucasArts did make Star Wars X-Wing, and then Totally Games made TIE Fighter and X-Wing vs. TIE.
See, I never played TIE Fighter.
TIE Fighter was supposed to be fantastic,
It's
and X-Wing
great.
vs. TIE was...
It's on Steam. I have it.
I've thought about it a lot.
You know, it's really funny. What I fear, but I still think is still good. When is the last time we mentioned the game we were actually playing?
So, like, I was going to segue back into it. But, so this whole thing started because I was talking about when I originally played the game. And I know that, Jay, you played it as well when we used to play together.
Next 64, yeah.
Nate, did you ever play it before?
I never had a 64, so at buddies' places, but only to the... I basically made it as far as I've ever made it in this game, plus one mission, then stopped playing. So only like the first 3 missions, because I'd go over, not your place, but I'd say I'd go over to Timmy's place and be playing Rogue Squadron and then be like, let's go play baseball or something, because I'm just sitting at somebody's house playing their game system. So no, I played it in passing, 15, 20 minutes here and there, maybe an hour, but never more than that.
So then what are your thoughts of it now looking kind of back at it?
I mean, I think it's really well done. I liked it. There were a lot of things that I feel like, and this is me judging it as a PC gamer playing it in 2020, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing the limited draw distance. What kind of irked me, and I think it was across all platforms, and it wasn't common in not that I play that many flight sim games. When you were in third person mode, your reticule, it was a 2-part reticule, would bridge to show this is where your nose is, and that's where your lasers are probably going to go. Yeah, that's how the 2 parts would separate. But then when you went to cockpit mode, they were all right on top of each other. And it's like, no, there should still be some lag in my...
way off.
Yeah. There should still be some lag in my reticule.
Yeah.
There was none of that in the 64 version.
On first person, your reticule still stayed as 1, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. The reticule didn't show where the lasers are going to be. You only had
on
just a
third
static
person,
one.
it did, because you had the 2 reticules that separate.
Not on the 64 version that I was playing.
I bet you it did. Yeah, because
No,
you had the
it
2
didn't.
parts, and it would turn.
No, it doesn't show you where your lasers are going to be.
It just shows you the 2 parts of the reticule, though, does it not?
No, it's just one little
thing,
like
the
dot.
64 wasn't the 3D version.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was good. It wasn't. I played X-Wing vs. TIE back in the day, so like I was comparing it to that, and I was
It's
like,
a different kind of
the,
game.
the first thing I did was go to the controls to figure out how to adjust my shield modulation. I was like, oh, this ain't that kind of game.
Arcade versus
No,
Yeah,
literally what I was going to say. That's
Yeah.
like one of my thoughts was that it definitely came across that, oh yeah, this wasn't what you would say nowadays a console game. This was like a game that you would go to an arcade. That's how, at least how
I
they
can get you that feel. Yeah,
they made it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily was it an arcade game, but it felt like, because
It-
you only got 2 lives. If you died twice, you had to start not necessarily
Which I
the whole
liked.
entire levels over again, but you had to start the whole
Most recent
process
checkpoint,
over
yeah,
again.
checkpoint.
You know?
I did like that though, because it did. Otherwise, it wouldn't have had. And it did. You know, like, what do you do, Mario, where you have 5 lives and now you can get 1-ups, or do you just say, all right, you beat that mission, so we're not going to put you too far back, but you got to start that mission.
Yeah, it's not about the lives thing. It was more along the lines that I had to start like from main menu over again.
Yeah,
that was
it
a bit
threw you back
annoying.
to the main menu.
Yeah,
And then-
that was the annoying part, and that was the part where I was like, oh, this is definitely like, oh, insert your token.
Yeah,
your
yeah.
tokens. Insert your JRR tokens.
Well, the 64 came out when Sega was still around. Like, that was very common that the game.
Sega was pretty much out of the water at that point, though.
They still came out with the Dreamcast after the 64, did they not? The Dreamcast came out in 90.
You're the one with the Mighty Dell.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I was like, no, Dell did not offer a console, man. I'll look that up in a sec. But like, I did like that, because this was back in the days when, oh man, I'm playing Mario at the arcade. I have got to get my mom to buy me an NES so I can play Mario. Like, where you could, the boards, that's where Sega made its money initially, was designing the boards to run arcade games. And like, Atari as well, maybe.
But despite that, I thought it still held up. I finished the game. I don't know about you guys. About a couple days ago, I finished it. God damn, is it hard?
Yeah, it gets really hard towards the end.
It really did, and that was my biggest gripe of getting thrown back to the main menu because I got thrown back to the main menu a lot. So
I think that whole like arc. So it is an arcade style game, but I think it's looking at it through a lens of today. Looking back, you're like, this is like it's throwing back to the main menu. But like a lot of games were like that, where it's like these are the lives you have, and if you fuck them up, you're done. Sorry. It was just a different. It was a different time. Games were a little bit different. They weren't necessarily there to be convenient. They were there to be tackled and beaten, and they were going to make you work for it. But that being said, did you guys mess with the cheat codes?
No, I didn't know if I didn't know if it would work on Steam, so I didn't really fuck around with it. I do regret it because I funny enough, the last time that I played it when I beat it was when I remember I was like, oh fuck, I could have been playing with the Millennium Falcon this entire time.
Yeah,
and I completely
on
forgot.
Some levels.
Oh,
so you can unlock the Millennium Falcon and the TIE Interceptor by getting bronze on all the... silver.
Oh, so you can do it without actually...
Yeah, so I think if you get silver medals on all the levels, you get the Millennium Falcon, and if you get gold on all of them, you get the TIE Interceptor. But you could use cheat codes to get them anyways.
The Naboo fighter as well.
So the Naboo fighter, the interesting thing about it, this game came out before The Phantom Menace.
Really?
But as they were making the game, they wanted to help use that movie to help market the game. So they went to Lucas and was like, hey, man, we want to put like one of the new ships from your new movie in there. And so he said, all right, okay, you can do that, but like just wait until after the movie is out. But the game was going to come out beforehand. So they coded it in there and like kept all different departments of the people who made the code separate. So the code was made by several different people who never saw the full code. And then they hid it, and you could only access it through putting in a passcode. And so after the movie had been out for like a month, they like did like a press release or something like that where they're like, hey, put in this code in this game and you can play the Naboo Starfighter.
And that's why on 3D it's always available. Okay.
You know, that's really interesting. Not to, but I'm going to deflect from the game again. Recently, a bunch of Nintendo source material was leaked. So basically, you could see that, like, for instance, Mario 64, there was a Luigi.
Yeah, I saw that.
A couple of other things, like apparently before Yoshi's Island, it was supposed to be like a spinoff of Donkey Kong.
Really?
Yeah, and
it's still in the source
exactly, code? And apparently it was some guy. I don't quote me on this, but it might have been some dude who used to work for them, just leaking it sparsely on 4chan.
4chan. How long ago was this?
Yeah, right.
It's still out there. Forget.
But funny enough, if they had done what LucasArts did, where they kept it separate and they had like passwords and whatnot, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, no, because you still had the department that designed the Naboo Starfighter. Those people would still be out there, and they might say, "I designed a Naboo Starfighter for this game," and
they only had to hold it for a couple of months.
But like in this instance, they released the entire pretty much the library of source material of Nintendo.
With the Naboo Starfighter, I read that people say that it was like one of the best hid Easter eggs, quote unquote, that Nintendo ever did because it took so long for people to find it.
Even though it was in the main menu?
It wasn't in the
in 3D.
Yeah, you had to put in the 64. You had to put in the code.
Okay.
To get it. But they also had to I don't know what this means. It just said they had to scramble the code because if people had, remember Game Sharks?
Yeah, I do remember those.
They had to scramble so Game Sharks couldn't find the code either.
But they just encrypted it and had
in some sort of
way. Probably.
The other thing that you could fly that wasn't the Millennium Falcon, the TIE Fighter, or the TIE Interceptor, or the Naboo Starfighter was, I think it was like a 1976 Buick convertible. All
right, I'm looking that up.
If you put in a certain code, the guy, I think he was one of the sound designers for the game, had his car put in there as like a little Easter egg.
Huh.
And it's just like this purple, huge Buick convertible that takes the place of the V-Wing. And it does all the same stuff as the V-Wing, but you're flying a fucking car.
That's ridiculous.
And it's shooting out lasers and everything.
All right, well, I won't give this
Buick
game...
was a unique vehicle, a car, or more specifically, a convertible that was capable of ground, atmospheric, and space combat.
So I'm not going to give any of these people credit until I know that they put the shoes from Cloud City in there.
Yeah, the shoes, the clogs.
Yeah.
That stupid thing.
I mean, they were in, what was it, Battlefront 2?
The original one. The original Battlefront 2.
Oh, the original Battlefront 2.
Yes.
I'm sorry, yeah.
look at the little pilot they put behind the wheel of the Buick.
It looks like
there's a
Grand
little
Theft Auto.
sprite of a.
I flew with it. I remember it.
Wow, that's really funny.
So when I'm going back through this game, like you said, Jay, definitely thought it was way harder than I remember. It might be because I was using the 64 controller, which is just the least ergonomic controller you can ever possibly use.
Well, I mean, you need 3 hands.
You need 3 hands, but
You only have 4.
I don't know. Like it really got me angry at certain points where I feel like I was getting defeated by something from my childhood, which made me feel like shit. I was like, I remember doing this as an idiot child, and now I can't get past the 5th level.
No, man, I remember specifically the level that I never beat as a kid. And it was the level, I don't remember the name of the planet, but when there's a downed spacecraft in the water.
The Nona. Yeah, that's the one I got stuck on.
I guess that was both of us. Yeah. I remember specifically I never beat that. But I think that was also because I never realized, I don't know if maybe it wasn't in the 64, on the radar.
Forces?
No, on the radar. It shows you where to go.
Yeah, the yellow cone.
Yeah, I never knew. Maybe I did, but I never knew that. And so I'd basically be like, oh, because you know what this game gave me, at least now playing it, gave me a lot of Star Fox feels.
Yeah.
Except just not on rails.
Yeah.
So I felt like, oh, I can just roam free and kill whoever I want, ignoring the objectives. Because oddly enough, I don't know how it is on the 64, but on the Steam, the objectives aren't apparent until you actually, press pause and you see them. It's like,
there's
they're right there. Okay.
Well, you have to listen to General Riken.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. So you guys didn't?
No, we have General Riken.
No. I was gonna say you didn't unlock the Millennium Falcon. So in the main ship selection menu, you can hit a button and it'll say a description of it.
No.
And it's General. Oh, okay. Well, Nate knows. Jason doesn't. If you, at least on the 64, if you hit like the C buttons, the yellow buttons, it'll give you a description of the ship.
He'll say it?
Yeah, General Riken.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
The yada 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 A-wing and
no, I mean I knew he did it for like the missions. If you just sit there, I didn't know he did it for the ships.
You can press the button and it'll tell you all about the ship, except for the Naboo Starfighter because they didn't want to have a voice actor knowing what they were doing. Huh. But when you do it on the Millennium Falcon, like General Riken is like really really pissed. Nate, I'm gonna tell you right now, when you're editing the video, stick it in there. Like, find that audio file.
Oh, the actual audio.
Stick it in there.
I thought you wanted me to have sex with the video file.
Yeah, do it. I mean, but yeah, put it in the audio file so people can hear it right now. See? Wasn't that funny? He sounds like super, super fucking pissed.
What if I can't find that audio file?
Then this will be even funnier. But he sounds like super pissed. He's like, this freighter has been modified. It has quad guns. It's got this and this. It has hidden smuggling compartments.
What an asshole!
But it is an all-around good ship. If you're a smuggler. And I'm like, man, this guy is just like...
Pissed.
Dude, when you...
Somebody doesn't work
you'll
for
see it on video, but I don't know, like, when you said, if you're a smuggler, that, like, pricked something in my brain, and I automatically remembered that entire thing.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I was like... I was like, if you're a smuggler... I was like,
so now you remember that
shit. Yeah, I do remember that.
It was it made my God. I just thought it was funny. Like, because I remembered that description. And I remember as a kid, like, man, but Han Solo's so cool. Why is this guy so mad at him?
What did you guys think? I mean, I know it's my thing, but I'm curious to think, or to know your opinions. What did you guys think about the voice acting for, like, each character and whatnot?
No! Heard that a lot.
I thought the voice acting was decent. I thought it was above decent. For the time, I think it was above average. Yeah. I hated the guy who did Luke's voice.
See, that's very strange. I thought, Han Solo wasn't there for long, but I thought the guy who did Luke was fucking spot on. I really did.
See, I disagree. Okay, so his voice sounded like Luke Skywalker. But the way he spoke sounded... Obviously, well, it's a game, but he sounded very scripted. It didn't sound natural at all, which I'm not expecting AAA today's...
No, of course not. Yeah,
but it sounded like you literally mailed a letter to Mark Hamill and said, "Hey, call me and say exactly this, then hang up." Like,
you mean that? Yeah. You mean that one game that Bruce Willis did that he was literally on the phone doing his voice? I don't know.
What?
Look it up. Yeah. Put it in the video. Yeah. Now.
All right, you guys are gonna stop that because
Do more work.
I'm gonna put your faces with just like all the dicks flying at them or something. Yeah, that's done. We're done with that, okay?
But no, I was actually really impressed and that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up in this episode was like I was actually really impressed with the voice acting with this game because I did not expect it at all. Maybe I'm putting a higher praise at it just because it's such an older game and I didn't expect voice acting to be on like anything. I was like,
right.
All your base are belong to us is what I was pretty much expecting. But I thought the guy who did Luke, I thought he did a great job. I thought he did a great A New Hope Luke. Yeah. Not Empire Strikes Back, especially not obviously because it fucking changed drastically and oh my god, episode 6?
Return of the Jedi?
There you go, Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
Well, this game takes place between A New Hope and Empire.
Not till the end. At the last, which I was like, what? The last level takes place after Return of the Jedi. When you're Wedge.
Yeah, it's like 5-6
years
later.
You play as Wedge,
Lord.
yeah.
Well, I mean, so this game was also based off of a comic book series.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that takes place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and it's about Rogue Squadron.
I thought that's funny. I meant to look it up and I didn't.
Well, good job.
Yeah. Whether or not this was just like a made story, because it's funny because I knew like you can feel a story going on. It wasn't necessarily in the forefront because it was mostly an arcadey type of game, but there was something about it that did make me interested to being like, I wonder like what kind of story they were telling. Except for the part at the end where they had the Devastators.
This is more powerful than the Death Star. In 20 to 30 minutes, it can destroy one city. The Death Star could destroy the whole planet. I don't think that's more powerful than the Death.
Were those big vacuum cleaners?
Yeah.
That were like sucking up the water or something?
No, it was like, you can't let them go to the city. They'll devastate the city.
Every time they went near a building, the
rapture
building
the city.
Yeah.
Rapture. Yeah, I think you had to fly the V-wing in that.
Yeah.
In that level, right?
Was that a made for that game?
I had never seen it before.
It was definitely in the Jane's Aircraft catalog that they made for Star Wars.
Jane's Aircraft?
You know Jane's.
No, I don't. Explain.
Jane's is they did a catalog of military vehicles. You know the aircraft fact file cards. You ever see any friends that had those as a kid? Jane's was, I don't know what they were. They were an encyclopedia company. Or maybe, what's the thing called that farmers use? Almanac. I believe an almanac company. Insert a picture of an almanac here. Fucking cunts. And a farmer. But they called them the aircraft fact file cards, and the idea was it was like the F-16, and it was manufacturer it wasn't Northrop but American, max speed, cost, all the different things in F-16, and then in addition to these facts on one side, similar to how Wikipedia has. You know how Wikipedia has on the right side that list of like it'll be like the Millennium Falcon Wikipedia, and it'll have all the data files.
Like an index.
Yeah, basically it has that. Well, it's got the index over here, but then on the right it's got just random info. Then there was a story about the F-16. Well, they did the same thing for all the Star Wars ships: the AT-AT, the Y-wing, the B-wing, the X-wing, the A-wing. That's all of them.
So basically, like this book
very
that
similar
I was
to that,
gifted for. Was it Christmas or birthday?
Chronica.
That was a Christmas a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But they did one for Star Wars. They also did like an incredible cross sections for Star Wars. I remember the V-wing from
the
being
cross sections books.
Here's the thing, though. You guys remember that V-wing that you saw in the game? The V-wing, according to Google, is like the Jedi starfighter looking thing. Like,
was it?
No.
At the end of the
and 3
at the end of the prequels. You know the V-wing slide by. They had a TIE fighter.
That's their version
stream.
of the bomber.
It might have been just made for the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had never seen it in anything else.
Mm-hmm.
It Mustafar.
Mustafa.
Well,
dead air. That's fun.
Yeah. Hey man, you guys, Mustafa, keep talking. Bruce Willis. It was Apocalypse was the game. I can't confirm that he recorded that on a phone, but he was supposed to be a subsidiary character with a lot of dialogue. And as the game went on, and Bruce Willis was like, "Fuck you guys, I'm not involved in this," they had to make him the main character so they could reduce his amount of spoken lines.
Mm-hmm.
The main character gets less spoken lines in this game?
Yeah, because
Probably,
otherwise you were running around with Bruce Willis next to you, and they had a bunch of one-liners.
Look at
basically.
Master Chief from Halo.
Well, I mean...
Look at Master Chef from most restaurants.
Do
You don't
mean
talk to him very much.
The modern masterpiece, Halo?
yeah.
Weird. Anyways, so...
Are you ready?
I have nowhere to go from here.
Least
do.
favorite.
I do. So I tried to play this for about a week on keyboard, and I was like, you know what? I want to see. And I don't know what they did.
I also like to live dangerously.
Yes. But like usually you've played flight sims on keyboards. I've done that. I played X-Wing vs. TIE on a keyboard. I never used a joystick. I never had a
I
joystick.
can never fathom ever like playing a game with a vehicle with a fucking keyboard.
I played
Can't
it.
fathom it. How many knots can you?
I played TIE and X-Wing on keyboard and mouse as well because I didn't have a joystick.
Exactly. And so I thought
I had one though.
maybe this will work. And so I tried moving the mouse, and I don't even know if you could fly with the mouse. But for some reason, when you weren't using a joystick, your minimum input directional change was 15 degrees. So if you needed to tap a little bit left, no, you're turning 15 degrees left. And
Yeah.
15 and there was no, like, you couldn't adjust the settings. It was just like, no, you have what's 360 divided by 15 is, 30 some odd?
I don't know, do math.
I got a calculator right here.
Well, that's probably because they didn't assume any madmen were going to try to play this on a fucking
Then
keyboard.
why offer
No.
support for it? That's my like, I get, like, oh, you want to be inclusive, but then, like, all you had to do was let me control it 24 segments.
Hey, check me on this. So this came out in 1996, and then I think, fuck. Okay.
It came out.
1998.
It came out the same year the Dreamcast did. 2 years.
So
after
then,
the
when
64
did Phantom Menace come out?
99.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Luke. Shit.
Luke shit.
George Lucas came out in 2000.
George Flukas.
Yeah.
Me and his son / Never mind. We'll cut that.
Will we?
Somebody was about to hate on LGBTQ.
I was
We're
about to
gonna
hate.
cut
I was
that.
just to point out that they are. I think right. His son / daughter share.
I'm googling.
I'm pretty.
No, Sonny and Cher's daughter became a son. Chaz.
Chaz. I was
That
thinking
has nothing
Chaz
to do with
Bono.
Luke. Maybe
Why the fuck was I thinking of
maybe
Lucas
because
as that?
Because you wanted
she
to
kind
slander
of looks
Lockheed
like
Martin.
George Lucas now. He always wears plaid, and he's kind of fat and has a turkey neck. Maybe because of that.
Maybe, yeah.
All right.
No, but you're totally fucking right.
Listen,
yeah.
Amanda Lucas, Jet Lucas, Everest Hobson Lucas, and Katie Lucas. I just have their names. I didn't research anything else. Sorry, that's all I got. Yeah,
That's fine.
that's
And
Thank
that's
you for
all we
that.
need to know. Yeah.
Hobson.
I mean,
Hobson
I'm
Lucas?
gonna guess that.
Whatever.
Jet's-
At least it's not like George Foreman naming all his kids, including the daughters,
Georgina.
Whatever. It's still George.
Okay.
Hey, man, Georgina might accidentally end up ruling the Prussian Empire.
Do you remember those old commercials? I forget what they were for. Probably for the George Foreman grill.
I
But
do.
when he had he pulled out his wallet and all the pictures of the kids were in
Yeah,
there. He's like
16
George,
yeah.
George, and George. What the fuck was that commercial for?
remember that.
Grills, obviously.
Was it for the grill?
Yeah, it was for the grills.
Okay.
All right, I'm looking up Mike Tyson.
What? No. Look up Holyfield. You got to see if a piece of his ears on eBay. No, nobody wants a piece of history.
Where's the law on that? Like selling somebody else's piece of someone else. Like if I cut off your big toe, can I sell it?
I mean,
if I claimed
know
it
if you
via
can sell
combat,
it.
is it mine?
I don't know if you can
Who
sell
owns
it,
that piece of?
but I
person?
know it's tender. It's quite tender.
Oh, that's Tinder.
That's tender.
Kung Pao into the fist. Yeah,
Dude,
okay.
that's a really good question, though. I wonder. So, like, obviously, he bit off a piece of his ear. I'm assuming he then spit it out.
He did. Yeah. He
So then, where did that go?
So if
did they just throw it away?
I mean, at its core, your body is your property. It's the core basis of basic property rights. The ownership.
Thank
of
you,
one's
Nate.
own
I wasn't
body.
aware of that.
But there's what I'm saying is that, like, if you defeat someone in combat in Roman times, they could be your slave, and you could now sell
But
them.
this isn't Roman times.
Yeah, exactly.
I really want to know what
This
happened
is
to
a
that.
blood sport where a piece of a man's ear got bitten off. Is it a collectible? Does he get a kickback on every resale?
I would
mean,
assume he
sure
would
as
get a
fuck-
kickback.
Because, like,
I think it would be rules like the same as like a home run baseball.
I don't think that he'd be
but
allowed.
that's just it. It's a piece of a human's body. Unless he sold it with the rights for ownership
It
of
has to be illegal to sell a piece of a human's body, unless
Well,
it's like
of
some
course.
sort
But,
of
but,
science.
it's- but like guns,
Human
you can sell
trafficking
guns
is
after
fucking
50
illegal.
years. You can sell guns as collectibles without any regulation or
So
restriction.
if when did that happen? Back in like the 90s?
I don't know.
What?
It was like the mid 90s.
When Holyfield got his...
When he
I've
bit
got
his
George
ear.
It
Foreman
wasn't the
typed in. I'm
90s.
still looking at the George
There's
Foreman
no
commercial,
way that
guys.
was the 90s.
Yeah, it was in the
Holyfield
90s.
That had to be the
ear-bitten.
80s.
No, it wasn't because I remember it on TV and I was born in 87.
That was the 90s?
Yeah.
Really?
97.
Wow. Holy shit.
Motherfucker, I'm not that old.
For the record, having seen the clip, now, he wasn't trying to bite him. His mouth was open and the ear got in there and then he got clocked in the jar.
Nah,
right?
he totally bit his ear off.
See,
Yeah.
They were clenched
I
together.
think OJ was innocent, so I think we clearly just disagree on things like this.
This is bringing back memories. So O.J. Simpson and Evander Holyfield's bitten off ear are both in this really terrible movie, My Boss's Daughter.
Wait, with
Put the
Ashton
crowbar
Kutcher?
Yeah, that one.
Wait. Wait, I thought that was the girl next door.
No.
Every reference is another fucking image I have to look up and edit in. Fuck these guys. Go on the Facebook and talk shit to him. Go to the website and talk shit to him. Fuck these guys.
Dude.
Go on the YouTube and just give me love.
You watch YouTube almost probably more
Ooh, my
with
boss's
than
daughter.
me. You know how much gripe YouTube editors get.
Oh,
Welcome to the club, motherfucker, and you're just going into
we
it.
have no followers or subscribers on YouTube, so nobody gives me shit.
Yeah, guys.
Which is your fault.
No, it's
you should
make
be editing
better
better.
content.
Yeah. You know, I should probably just be releasing anywhere near on time. I'm still editing our episode from literally a month ago.
Yeah, go to our YouTube, guys. It's great.
I am planning to get caught up. Give me this month and then I'll be caught up.
No.
Okay.
You're fired.
Never mind. I have to pee again.
All right, on that, we'll just take a little pee break. We'll be back after these
I'm
messages.
peeing right now. Now, it's sponsors like that allow us to do this podcast. Don't you guys agree? Wasn't that a great sponsor? George Foreman pointing at pictures of George, and George.
Is George Foreman still alive?
Yeah.
I hope not, because he'll sue us if he is.
I was going to say, we could contact him and be like, hey, man, I love your grills. You want to give us some kickbacks
Dude,
here?
his grill
Because you
actually-
guys are all going to run out and buy George Foreman grills now, right?
The grill is fire. Like, my dad bought one of those after the divorce. I was like 11. And that
Whoa,
shit was-
whoa. We don't need to get all dark here.
I don't know, man. I was making a George Foreman joke. Don't look at me to continue the content. I'm clearly tapped out.
So after that word from our non-existent sponsor, I'm going to take us into favorite, least favorite. Jason, go.
Okay.
Why? Because
it's
this
a-
is our
it's a
only segment.
segment we
No. I mean, why me first? I wasn't expecting
Well,
that.
I mean, Nate, do you want to
All
go
right, so
first?
my
can
no,
step in.
fuck it. I'm
Hey,
ready.
we're doing it live. We're doing it live.
So my favorite was just how surprised I was to actually enjoy myself. I'm not really fond of going back to retro games or like 2D.
You're in the wrong podcast, buddy.
You ain't wrong.
Get off my porch.
Oh, that felt wrong.
So I was enjoying how much I had enjoyment, I guess. I actually,
That's kind of philosophical, isn't it?
I hated how much I hated it.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was very surprised as much as you guys were to actually find that
It wasn't a chore.
exactly.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
a lot
that
of times the game
the
isn't sure.
difficultness wasn't something where I was like, fuck this game.
Mhm.
I could actually be like, all right, it is a product of its time. Don't cancel it. We should just put a disclaimer.
I have a point on that, though. Because there were times when I was playing the game and I was like, I wasn't having enough enjoyment to justify the difficulty. You were playing this interchangeably with Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. So you were going from like the most difficult new game out there to this game. So the difficulty, I
Yeah.
think, seemed probably less.
Let it be known he mentioned another game, so he has to pull it up. And you know,
No
what's
more
funny?
proper nouns.
You know what's really funny? Before you interrupted me during my,
Continue your story about Star Trek.
I was
Rogue
gonna
Squadron.
mention Sekiro, and I didn't because I didn't want you to do
Well,
that.
Dude, I don't pull up game images. It's
Help me to help you. Help me to help you. Help me to help you.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the difficulty. I enjoyed. It's weird. Like I said, I enjoyed the voice acting. I don't know why I asked you guys. I'm very.
Jason enjoyed the voice acting. Big fucking surprise.
No, I'm very. I critique many games on voice acting.
I know, I know.
while
If their voice
sniffing his own
acting isn't,
farts.
if their voice
Sorry.
acting isn't good, hi Buff. It just pulls me away from the game, and I was very surprised by Luke. I do remember as a kid thinking the same though, and I was actually happy that I was right to myself. Least favorite, just the interface, I guess. Expecting going into it, thinking like, oh yeah, they just announce Squadron. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like this is gonna set me up for that game.
Right.
I will say that it did set me up in the visuals. Like when you did first person, it seemed like they're doing the same thing where you have that how in the films they showed how the cockpit was or how the cockpit was, and that's what I'm definitely looking for. It's one of the weird Star Wars aesthetic things that I like is
you
how
only say that word with a lisp in the podcast. You don't say that word with
It's
a lisp
just
in real
it's a
life.
thing.
well because I haven't said Senthwa.
It's a thing that we do. Okay.
Yeah.
Let it happen.
I just don't get it.
It's a weird thing that I've always liked is just how the cockpits look.
Yeah.
The cockpits look in Star Wars.
Retrofuturism. It's a thing. And it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, exactly. I've always liked it. And it sucks to fault it because this is a game that came out in, like you said, in 1990.
Back in 1998 when Undertaker.
Oh, God damn it! You have any idea how hard it was to find an image of that? That's where I stopped editing. In the last episode, you brought this shit up, the last full episode, and all I could find was videos of it, and the only pictures I can find are 256 by 256, and they look like shit in the video.
So
I'm literally waiting to find a high-quality image of that to edit into our last episode's video.
So what you're saying is I should only pick games from 1998 from now on for this podcast?
All I'm saying is that if you guys want to bring up Macho Man Randy Savage and Slim Jim, I can find high-quality images of that shit everywhere, but not Undertaker throwing Mankind off the top of Hell in a Cell as he crashed 16 feet down through an announcer table. And
not sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, that and then also I didn't care for the arcadey feel. I guess I know you guys disagreed, but I didn't really care for that.
That game style is just out of vogue now. Nobody really makes those anymore. Those are actually like in arcades if they're going to make them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nate?
Favorite, definitely. First time I sniped a TIE fighter, because so many of the reticule, the targeting reticule is rough. The distance leading for playing War Thunder and other games where you're in dogfights. None of the quality of life features and stuff that's on real aircraft or stuff that pilots are trained to do is there. So you're just you've got this reticule that means next to nothing. And I was flying in on one mission, and I see this TIE fighter, and he's not flying right at me or right away from me. It wasn't an easy shot. He's going horizontal. I was like, I'm gonna try right there, and I fired 2 lasers, and they tapped this fucking TIE fighter out of the air, and I was like, yes. That was my favorite, and it is because I was playing the game, I was getting better at it, and the difficulty curve actually eases up quite comfortably. It gets hard. I never played as far as you, but it compared to the ground troops in the first episode don't even shoot. I got shot down by ground troops mission. I got shot down by ground troops in later missions. The base where they're manufacturing the AT-ATs and AT-STs. As you blow up the buildings, ground troops come out. And when 6 or 7 of them are all running around, they shoot at you, and they'll literally shoot you down.
When you had to go against the walkers, and it flipped your invert, and so when you're going, you shoot your cables.
Can you interrupt me with a coherent sentence, please?
Sorry. Also, another thing that pissed me off when they forced you to use a speeder when it's specifically in that movie, it's only a circumstance type fucking.
I liked watching the speeder fly out of a space hangar.
Yeah, right.
A non-space vehicle. It's like it should have been.
But not only that, they inverted your controls when you're going around with the fucking cable.
Yep.
I was so infuriated with that.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a couple tries to figure that shit out. And I bet you anything, and I think I did get farther than the one where the ship was crashed in the water. I think
you beat
that
the game.
Was when when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. I watched you beat the game.
That was when I quit because I couldn't figure that fucking shit out.
Makes
and
sense.
I remember even as a kid being annoyed, release the cable or whatever the hell you would say when you're close.
So I tried playing it on a Steam controller. So this is my least favorite is the interface. I tried on keyboard just to say I tried, not able to be played. I tried on the Steam controller, and the Steam controller for some reason in the game binds as a keyboard. But then half the buttons on the Steam controller don't input when you try to reset them. So the secondary fire, not accessible on the Steam controller. You got 4 buttons, and they all do, camera for some fucking reason. And then A is your laser. You could not remap, or I could not remap secondary fire, which is the tow cable.
Did you do what I told you to do?
No, because I don't remember what you told me to do.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the Steam controller. You just go download.
Yeah, but I didn't do that.
Things that people.
I don't even know
made.
the Steam controller, man.
I tried telling him.
No, you didn't. Not well enough. Maybe you did. I don't know. Either way, I did. The interface was rough. And like thinking about X-Wing vs. TIE, I'd love to go back and play it again. The thing is, that interface was rough, and I would go insane with the amount of input you have to have for X-Wing vs. TIE. One of the things that this interface was rough now, but because of the game, the way the game is arcadey, when I plugged in your Xbox controller, plugged it in, everything functioned, and I just had to search for the buttons. Because there's so little input for the player, this one's still playable, whereas I feel like X-Wing vs. TIE would have too many input points.
For a controller?
For playing on a keyboard. I was used to, at that time, having to learn these weird control interfaces.
Well, I mean, not to go against what I said earlier, but like Microsoft's coming out with the airplane simulator, or the fuck you want to call it, flight simulator. But like, why the fuck would I want to play that on a console? You know, why would you want to play any simulator on a console? Yeah, you can't
play a sim on a console.
And that, I guess. Sorry, that game's really popular. I actually have played that game before.
On a PC,
it's super popular.
Yeah, but and that like the interface was rough, but it was still playable. It did not break my. Once I plugged in the Xbox controller and everything just worked flawlessly, it was enjoyable to play.
Would you say you had a flawless victory?
No, because I died a lot. I died to ground fire, Jason. Like stormtroopers took me down. Stormtroopers killed me. I did not have a flawless victory.
That's ate his baby.
That is an achievement.
Yeah. Oh, it should have been.
It should have been. If there were achievements in that game, that would definitely be one.
I did. I managed to get shot down right next to them. The stormtroopers, as I presume most of the things are, actually two images held like against each other, and so as he walked past, I could see he turned into two-dimensional.
It's the same with the other 64 Star Wars game that we were just talking about.
Shadows of the Empire.
Dash Rendars.
It was still the same way, even though it seemed like it was 3D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which it makes sense if you've got the image constantly facing. You don't need multiple.
They have their ways of doing it with their 64 bits.
There.
Well, what about you, Mr. Nolan? Not your last name. I don't know who you are.
Huh? Who?
His last name is Nolanistan.
Nolanistan. So my favorite has to be, you can tell in this game that the people who made it are actually Star Wars fans and love Star Wars. What put the icing on the cake for me was those descriptions that you can listen to in the hangar bay, because all the shit they say is accurate. It's all accurate to what you're reading, like the cutout
Mass Effect's encyclopedia.
Like the Codex.
The Codex is in Mass Effect. Like that made the game because it gave you some lore. It gave you some. But
Mass Effect as well, they could have said whatever they wanted.
Yes,
that was a new IP.
This they had to. They had to respect canon. Yeah,
and like looked at what was accurate and what was canon and what people had been reading since they were kids. So you know that they actually did their research. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's only surprising because now so many video games that are based off of movies are shitty, because they're just cash grabs. Whereas back then, video games to be made were a little bit more expensive, so they would actually spend time on them and make them good for the most part.
You got to think 98. Those guys probably watched. There was a reasonable belief that they could have watched Star Wars in the theaters on release as kids. So they grew up with this love and then made the game. Yeah.
And I'm sure they did. I'm sure some of them did. Yeah. But you can see the love that was put into like make the game world true to a Star Wars fan wouldn't look at it and be like, this game sucks. Because everything in there was accurate. Least favorite, and it's not the game's fault, but I don't think. And remember, I didn't play on Steam like you guys. I played on my 64. That shit does not hold up. The graphics do not hold up. And
they don't hold up on a 27-inch monitor either. Yeah, they just don't hold up.
It made it kind of hard to play because it was hard to see things. The control interface, I think, was pretty intuitive and it worked pretty well. But just looking at it kind of hurt my eyes. It was.
It's like when we look at you, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But overall though, it was a better experience than I expected it to be. I expected to go into it and kind of have to drudge through it. But yeah, I did have fun. I liked that it was a hard game. And I especially liked that it was a game that had those old school cheat codes that you put in.
Anybody else really like this month that we had time to, I never felt obligated to play the game. Even when I decided that I wasn't going to finish it, I was like, I put enough time in to get a feel for this game. It was nice to play a game that was like literally what this podcast is about. It was an old school console game, something you could sit down and play and walk away from it. I didn't feel a sense of obligation. I just enjoyed when I played it. Except
wait till you hear about the next game,
because I'm going to play that in a day.
So our next game, we're pretty excited about this one.
Halo Reach.
No, we're not doing Halo Reach.
But I can't even explain it.
But we are doing Halo Combat Evolved.
Can we at least call it Halo Combat Evolved?
Yes, well, you can.
I will.
We're doing the original Halo. Well, I'm going to be playing it on the Master Chief Collection. So it's going to be the upgraded graphics for me because I'm playing it on my Xbox because I already own it. Haven't played through it since I bought the Master Chief Collection.
Do you still have an Xbox? Xbox.
An original Xbox?
Yeah.
No.
Do you have a 360?
Yeah.
Does it function?
Yeah.
Do we have a copy of the original game?
No.
I do.
Are you sure?
It's still fucked.
It's the one that's scratched.
It's
Scratched
scratched.
up.
Yeah, it's scratched.
I might see if I can buy an original
It'll
disc.
play the first level, but then when it goes to load the second one, it'll do that.
Oh, the thing. Yeah.
All
I
you have
remember
to
that.
do is flush it down the toilet.
and put toothpaste on it.
Yeah, or peanut
So
butter.
these motherfuckers years
No,
ago
no.
had a
Wait
scratched
for it.
up copy
Wait
of a
for the
game,
story.
and I'm fucking saying what I know. You can get it right in the next episode. They, for some reason, tossed it in a toilet and flushed it, and then it started functioning or
Yeah.
some shit.
That's not how.
Sorry,
it
ladies
happened.
and gents.
Then they put each other
We'll-
in the toilet and flushed each. It was weird.
We'll
Your Honor.
redo the story
Then his,
later.
Well,
then her
we'll tell
wife threw her titties in my hand.
We'll tell you the real thing next month when we were talking about Halo Combat Evolved.
Continuing to put off the story of the blood flow in my. What was that?
So you can get Halo on Steam if you want to get the whole Master Chief Collection, which if you're a fan of Halo and you don't already have it, it's $40 on there. I mean, I would get it just because it's cool. I played it for a little while before they patched the hell out of it, but you can like hit a button and switch between the old graphics and the new graphics, which is pretty cool. If you just want to get Halo 1, it's $10, and the prices are going to be the same for Steam, and if you get it on Microsoft or Xbox, $40 for the Master Chief Collection, $10 just for the standalone game. Are you guys excited?
Yeah, excited. I'm excited for podcast first. We're going to, all three of us, play this together and try to finish the game together.
Oh, you were
Fuck, it's
serious.
so funny.
We've played actual multiplayer games that we've played for like 2 days together. We're
Yeah,
never
but
gonna
this
do
is an actual multiplayer game. This is actually a story-driven multiplayer game that we played together before. So,
I doubt it. I will believe it when I see it. Or maybe I'm just
and
not
you will
fun to
see
play
it.
games
And maybe since the man who doubts it is doing our video, maybe we'll throw it on there.
Hey, I have a question. Do you guys know if there's cross-platform since you guys are going to be playing on PC and I'm going to be playing on Xbox?
It is.
Are
It
you
is.
buying the Master
It
Chief
is.
Collection?
He already has it.
I know, but do you? Because I was just going to buy Combat Evolved, and will that play?
It's a HD version. It's going to be the same thing. It should.
But that's
be
what I'm saying is if you don't buy the Master Chief Collection, if I say so, I plan to just buy Combat
get what
Evolved.
you're
Would I be
saying.
able to?
No,
play
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It should be. If not, fuck Microsoft. But yeah.
Well,
I think the good people at Microsoft would never do a blatant cash grab by selling a new type of game for us to have multiplayer play cross-platform.
Play Sea of Thieves.
No.
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, probably. I think it's
That's
probably
good.
going to allow
I like that. Either way, that game's so fucking good. I just want to listen. Literally the other day, just looked up, twice, looked up the guitar riff just to hear it. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, dude, I remember.
Lindsey Sterling's version is the best.
Yes, well, you
I
also
remember
want Lizzie-
I'll just save it. But in high school on bus drives, that's all I'd listen to, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
in high school Busta Rhymes as well. Yeah,
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna call it at this point now.
he's gonna call the cops on me.
You guys don't forget to hit us up on our socials. Command Center .games is our website. CommandCenterPodcast@gmail.com. Get us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Let us know what you think. Let us know what games you want us to play. Give us some feedback. Let us know how Halo's going for you because it should be a wild ride. I haven't played it in a long time. I think it's going to be really good. I know that we all have really fun memories of this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a great episode. So don't miss us next month. Last Friday of the month, we'll have our report basically on Halo. And then on the 15th, we'll be coming out with our mid-month, talking about all the other stuff that we were playing when we were supposed to be playing Halo. Nate, you have something to say?
Yeah, we should bring Zach in because nobody kills the NPCs for no reason in that game like Zach.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said like Zach. So I was like, nobody kills the NPCs in that game?
I am I the only one that like literally tried to keep those little bastards alive?
Yes.
As they
No,
retardedly
of course,
run.
Yeah.
I am the only one.
Yes.
Oh, I have strong patriotic feelings about the United Nations Space Command, sir.
And we can delve into that next month. I think it's going to be really, really fun.
Mighty Delve.
That's it. So, bye. Thanks for listening. I love you.
Break your fucking neck, bitches.
Why are they breaking Nick? You should be ashamed of the expected foreskin.
Oh,
I'm circumcised, sir.
end credits.